Dear students, in this video we will learn briefly about the nature of light. You might have heard that light is an electromagnetic wave. Light is an electromagnetic wave. And about waves you have learned already in 9th standard. You have learned that waves look something like this, isn't it? There is something called the axis of the wave, and wave propagates in some direction, meaning energy transmits through some medium, and you call these peaks as crests, and these valleys as troughs. These valleys are called as troughs. And the distance between two adjacent crests, you call it as wavelength. Lambda is wavelength. Wavelength, which is equal to distance between two adjacent crests or troughs. Right? Between two troughs also, if you measure the distance, that is called as wavelength. Also, you have learned that the displacement from the mean position, maximum displacement, this is called as amplitude. Amplitude commonly denoted by letter A. Light is also a wave, but this wave is different from the wave you have studied in 9th standard, that is sound wave. This wave can travel through vacuum, this electromagnetic wave. And here you have electric field component as well as magnetic field components, right? So if in one plane electric field is oscillating, in another plane there will be magnetic fields oscillating this way, right? So it is little complicated wave, but to simplify we can understand that, light wave looks something like this. Only electric field components, if you take, light wave looks something like this. Okay, and what is its wavelength? Light waves, what is the wavelength of light waves? Wavelength, it typically ranges from 4000 angstrom to 7000 angstrom. If you already know, 1 angstrom equals to 10 to the power minus 10 meter. This is a relation, right? Or in nanometer also you can write it 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer, where 1 nanometer equals to 10 to the power minus 9 meter, right? These are the typical wavelengths. So these are very small wavelengths, right? The wavelength here, if you measure, it is in angstrom, which is very small. And the amplitude also, if you measure, okay, amplitude is also very small. So here, as we see, this wave, this light wave which I have drawn over here, if this light wave has very small wavelength and very small wavelength and amplitude, right? Amplitude, then we can assume that this wave travels in a straight line, right? All these peaks and valleys or the wavy character we can ignore for many uses, and we can say that light travels in a straight line, and we call this as a ray of light. Ray of light. For the everyday purposes, like light forms a shadow if light is traveling in a medium and some obstruction comes, then we see that suppose light is traveling in this direction, some obstacle comes here we get if here some screen is there, here in this region we get a shadow, right? So why we get a shadow here? Because light has been obstructed. So this proves that light travels in a straight line. So basically the straight line propagation of light, even though it is a wave, we can get many explanation using this straight line propagation of light. So a straight line path of light, simply we can call it as a ray of light. So what is a ray of light? Ray, a straight line path of light. A straight line path of light, we can call it as a ray of light. Then you might have come across a word called as beam. What is a beam? Okay, beam is a bundle of rays, a collection of rays. A collection or bundle of rays is called a beam, right? So if you have a line, simply this is a ray, right? But if you have a bundle of rays like this you can call as a beam of light. In continuation, let us see what is the meaning of a converging and a diverging beam. If rays of light are approaching each other, maybe towards a common point, then this set of rays form something called as converging beam. Whereas if there is a set of rays that are going away from each other, then such rays form a beam that is called as diverging beam. Sometimes the beam may be narrow, like we have neither converging nor diverging, a set of parallel rays, we call this as beam. But if the beam is very narrow, right, a narrow beam of light, a narrow beam, it is sometimes called as a pencil, right? Pencil of light. So these are the common terms. We will see reflection of light in the next video.